Hello friends, today we'll discuss MCQ on the lathe machine and machining process. I will try to explain you every answer with the help of a diagram. Okay, our first question is in lathe work, when the tool is fed parallel to the rotation of job work, it will produce. Okay, if you see in this diagram, the tool is fed parallel to the rotation of a job, and in that case will produce a cylindrical surface, and that's why our answer is A. There is a cylindrical surface. The next question, tool post is dash the carriage. I show the lathe machine. From this diagram it is clear that this tool post is mounted over the carriage. It means that tool post is mounted above the carriage, and that's why our answer is A, above. Third question, workpiece is held in dash. Now I showed first diagram the three-jaw chuck. In three-jaw chuck mostly we are mounting a cylindrical components. Okay, while in the four-jaw chuck we are mounting or locating a other than the cylindrical component. It means that in the chuck we can hold a workpiece. So that's why our answer is A, chuck. Fourth question, lathe center is used for dash workpiece. As we know that there is a live center and a dead center. Right now, so live center is on the headstock and the dead center is on the tailstock. And in this case, the workpiece is supported. Basically, the long workpiece is supported between this live and the dead center. It means that our answer is B. The lathe center is used for supporting the workpiece. Our fifth question, in which of the following type of lathe screw is provided for a thread cutting? Friends, it means that this is a threading top you have to produce on the lathe machine. For that, I shown this is a center lathe machine, and in center lathe screw is provided for the thread cutting. So in the turret and capstan there is no lathe screw because they are done by using the tap and die, and that's why our answer is A, center lathe. Next question, the greater the dash, stronger is the tool. This is I just shown a single point cutting tool, and in this single point cutting tool, if you compare these two tools, here I showed a lip angle. This lip angle basically is a greater lip angle as compared to this first diagram. It means that greater the lip angle, stronger will be the cutting edge. So the greater the lip angle, which your answer is B, and stronger is the tool. So next, when the tool face is ground slope from nose towards the rear end, it is called dash. I shown again a single point cutting tool. This is the nose and this is the rear end of the tool. Friend, it is clearly mentioned that the tool face, this is a face of the tool which is ground to slope from nose to the rear end. Okay, then we can see the answer is a positive rake angle. The next question, a single point cutting tool has or have, you can see the three diagrams I have shown. This is a positive rake angle, negative rake angle, and a zero rake angle. Right? It means that single point cutting tool have all these rake angles, whether it is a positive, negative, or a zero rake. That's why our answer is all of the above. Next, the angle between the side cutting edge and end cutting edge is called as. I have shown this is a single point cutting tool. In this diagram, this line which I had drawn, okay, this is the end cutting edge angle and this is the side cutting edge angle of the tool. So between these two lines, the nose angle has been generated, and that's why our answer is B, nose angle. Then the next one, which of the following attachments can be used on the center lathe? This is the grinding attachment which is located over the carriage, and this is the milling attachment. Again, it is mounted over the carriage, and this is the coping attachments. It means that in the center lathe, all the grinding, milling, and the coping, all the above attachments can be located. Okay, so that's why our answer is D, all of the above. Next one, the following is used to turn very long job between the center on a lathe. Friends, if you see in this, mostly when I'm talking about the steady rest is the answer. Actually, this is a steady rest and this is a long job, right? Basically, this steady rest is mounted over the lathe bed and it does not move along with the carriage. And when the job is too long, right? In that case, steady rest is the basically used for just supporting the job, okay, so that the job will turn it very easily between the centers. So naturally, our answer will be a steady rest. Next question is, the following is used to support two flexible job very close to the cutting edge. First of all, any rest or a follower rest, I can say, is always used to support a long job. Okay, but in this case, the follower rest is mounted over the carriage or it is fastened to the carriage. As the carriage moves, naturally the tool will also move. With respect to that, the follower will also try to move. So it means that it is always close to the cutting edge. And that's why our answer is the follower rest. And you know that the steady rest is actually mounted over the bed. So it is not moving. And in that case, it is not close to the cutting edge. But in the follower rest, as it moves along over the carriage with respect to the tool, right? That's why answer is follower rest. A desired speed of dash can be obtained by selecting a suitable change gear having a proper number of teeth. This is the lead screw which I am showing in this diagram. We can change the speed of this lead screw by changing the gear which is located at the extreme end or extreme left side of the machine. Okay, so the whatever the speed we require, right, that can be get changed, okay, by using the change gears, and for that our answer is the lead screw. What is the necessary condition for turning? Students, I think it is very simple answer for this question. In a conventional machining, any conventional machining, the cutting tool should be always harder than the material of the workpiece. So that's why our answer is B. Cutting tool should be harder than the material of workpiece. Our next question is, the following part of a lathe serve as a housing for the driving pulleys and back gears. In this diagram, we can observe the driving pulleys and the back gears. They are located inside this housing of the head stock. So that's why our answer is head stock. Next, the following act as driving shaft in lathe. Students, in a lathe machine, this is the counter shaft which will act as a driving shaft. and which is always parallel to the main spindle. And that's why our answer is the counter shaft. Then next question, the lathe carriage serves the following purpose of the, if you see that the lathe carriage will always support the compound rest and the tool post also. Lathe carriage will also guide the tool with respect to the workpiece. Lathe carriage will also feed the tool in a longitudinal directions. So it means that the lathe carriage will serve the supporting, guiding, feeding, all of the above. So that's why our answer is D. On next question, the following is also known as a tool rest. So student, we know that this is the compound rest and the tool is supported on the compound rest, and that's why compound rest is also known as a tool rest, or a tool rest is also known as compound rest. That's why your answer is C, compound rest. Next is the following is used for holding bore part for machining their outside surface on lathe. Whether you take a hollow parts or any bore part, okay, it is mounted over the mandrel. And the mandrel, which may be a taper one or a cylindrical one. In this diagram, I have shown the cylindrical. And this mandrel is hold between the centers. Okay, then we can go for machining the outer surface on the lathe machine. And that's why our answer is A, mandrel. The following is taper turning method on lathe. So students, if I show this is the tail stock set or methods, this is the by swelling the compound rest method. Then by using a broad nose form tool, it means that our answer is all of the above. Next, in lathe, form tools are used to produce. Friend, if you see in this diagram, we can produce the surface which are neither cylindrical nor a taper. Okay, and that's why our answer will be the B, the surface which neither cylindrical nor taper. In that case, form tools are used. A turret hexagonal tool post can accommodate dash tools. Here I have shown this is a hexagonal turret. Okay. Student, as if you see, this is a top view of that. If the turret head is hexagonal, then I can locate the 6 tools. If there is a square tool post at that time, I can locate the 4. So in this case, our answer is D6. Which type of feed is needed in facing operation? Students, in facing operation is done only by the cross feed. You can see from the diagram, it is very clear that they are providing a cross feed to produce the facing operations. So that's why our answer is B, cross. Which type of surface is produced in facing operation? So if you see again in this diagram, the flat surface is produced in facing operation. So in facing operation, metal is removed by tool from the end of the metal, and the flat surface we can produce. So that's why our answer is C, flat. Lathe bed is usually made up of. So you know that lathe bed is generally made up of cast iron to withstand the load of the headstock or a tailstock, carriage, etc. Also, the vibration which is generated during the operations are damped out, and that's why our answer is a C, cast iron. Half nut or a split nut is connected with so in this case, if you see this diagram, this is the half nut and this is the lead screw. So this half nut is used for a thread cutting in a lathe. So it engages or disengages the carriage with a lead screw, right? You can see in this diagram, so that the rotation of the lead screw is used to transfer the tool along the workpiece to cut the threaded part. And that's why in this case, our answer is D, thread cutting on lathe. Next question, in which of the following type of lathe very high skill of labor is required? If I take our answer is actually the center lathe, but I'll give explanation of that. If I take the example of the thread cutting, so for the center lathe, or if I compare the center lathe with the turret or a capstan lathe, out of which center lathe required high skill as compared to the turret and capstan lathe, because thread cutting in the turret lathe generally produced by tap and dies, and that this is one of the example I have given. So that's why our answer is that the center lathe, for we require a very high skill labor for doing the any other type of operations. Cast iron during machining process produce. This from this diagram, I just try to show you that this is a discontinuous chips diagram. Right now, even in this case also, we can see the discontinuous chips has been produced. As you know that cast iron during the machining process always produce the discontinuous chip. As we know that cast iron is a brittle material, and that's why our answer is B, discontinuous chips. Next, the cutting edge of the tool is perpendicular to the direction of a tool travel in dash. In you know that if you see this diagram, so in orthogonal cutting tool is always perpendicular to the direction of the tool travel, and that's why our answer is orthogonal cutting of metals. The cutting edge of the tool is inclined at an angle less than 90 degrees to the direction of the tool travel. So in an oblique cutting, the tool is inclined at an angle less than the 90 degree to the direction of this feed, and that's why our answer is B, oblique cutting on metals. In metal cutting operation, continuous chips are produced while machining. I have shown this diagram with the continuous chips. Continuous chips are produced while machining a ductile material, because ductile material having the ability to stretch plastically at a room temperature without fracturing, and that's why our answer is B, ductile material. Next is the orthogonal cutting systems are also known as, basically it is also called as a two-dimensional cutting system. As we know that in the orthogonal cutting, two forces are acting, that is a cutting force and the thrust force, and that's why it is also called as a two-dimensional cutting system. And the next question is, oblique cutting system is also known as. Now student, our answer in this case is actually the three-dimensional cutting system, because there are three forces acting, that is the cutting force, thrust force and the radial force, and that's why our answer is C, three-dimensional cutting system. Next, tool signature or a tool nomenclature consists of a dash element. I shown here there are 7 elements right now. So naturally our 7 elements you can see in this diagram is the backtick, side tick, end relief angle, side relief angle, end cutting edge angle, side cutting edge angle, and the nose radius. So total are the 7 elements. That's why our answer is B7. Then in tool signature 0, 7, 6, 8, 15, 16, and 0.8 side rake angle is. Means he's asking the what is the value of the side relief side rake angle from this. This is as per the tool signature. You can see that tool there are 7 elements, okay, and all the 7 elements are fixed. Okay, so in this case I want a side rake angle where it is written here side rake angle. So for that my answer is 7. So 7 will be the side rake angle in this tool signature. So even if they ask the question anything, suppose they ask the end relief angle, suppose. So in that case, the end relief angle is on the third element. So at that time, your answer will be 6. Like that, this is a standardization which is done in the tool signature and you have to follow. So, but in this case, the side rake angle is 7 degree. So answer is B 7 degree. So thank you, friends.